Hey guys, today we're going to set up TouchOSC on an iPad with the keyboard layout to connect to REAPER through USB connection. I'd really like to do a video on how to customize your own TouchOSC layouts or build your own from scratch, but it's something that I've tried and just completely failed at. It's a lot more complicated than it seems. But what I'll show you today is pretty straightforward, provided that you're on a Mac and you have an iPad or an iPhone and you've bought the TouchOSC app. It should be pretty straightforward. If you're on Windows, this is probably not going to help you very much. If you don't have an iOS device, this is probably not going to help you. I have many other videos on the channel that you'll probably find interesting, but this is probably not one of them. So I'm starting off with REAPER closed and nothing open on the tablet. The iPad is unlocked. I'm going to plug it in through USB, the lightning cable. So we need to open up the Audio MIDI Setup app. So I always use Spotlight to get to that. Now, if you don't come up with these windows to begin with, you need to go to the window menu and enable audio devices and MIDI Studio. So we can see here that iPad is visible and all the other MIDI devices on my system are visible here, but iPad is grayed out. It's not enabled yet. So we have to go into the audio devices panel and enable iPad. Takes a second. And then in here, we see devices online. It's checked there. We can give it a name, and it has MIDI ports enabled. Okay, so we've got the iPad connected. Open up TouchOSC. Now we're going to skip the first option for connection and go to TouchOSC Bridge. It's currently disabled, but this is what we use to connect the USB. And so you just enable that, allow USB connection, make sure that's turned on. And in the CoreMIDI, we're going to enable that as well. Now, if you're only using this as a control surface, you don't need the CoreMIDI, but for MIDI input, it is required. So in the Layouts page, we're going to Keys and click Done. We're not going to hear anything yet. We need REAPER open and a virtual instrument. We also need to enable it as a MIDI device. So opening up REAPER, going to the MIDI devices page of Preferences. So that's Preferences, Audio, MIDI devices. And for Apple Inc. iPad, double-click, enable input for this device, and enable input for control messages. And click Apply. Let's add in a virtual instrument. Choose one from the list. Let's just take Addictive Keys. Should be able to hear this now. It's a little awkward to play, but I think it's still better than the mouse. So that all works. If we want to control parameters, should be able to MIDI learn this. Let's also look at one other layout here. So I'm going to insert a virtual instrument, and I'm going to choose Easy Drummer. And on TouchOSC, we're going back to the Layouts page, and we've got Beatmachine and done. And this gives you 16 pads. It doesn't give you the entire drum kit, but we got kick and we got snare and a hi-hat. So it's pretty responsive. There's very low latency through the USB connection. You can do this through the network, and it's a lot more difficult to play anything. But if you already have an iPad with you and you're traveling, if you've got your MacBook and your iPad, this is going to be much more compact and lightweight compared to bringing even a small MIDI keyboard. It's not velocity sensitive, unfortunately, but I think it's still going to be better than inputting stuff through the mouse or the virtual MIDI keyboard with typing on the keyboard. So that's it. Hope you've enjoyed this tutorial. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. You can follow me on Facebook and Twitter, join our Facebook group, REAPER Blog Community, support the REAPER Blog through Patreon, and visit reaperblog.net for a lot more tutorials.